What is quacking, everybody? This is Yump Quacks, where I talk about games and I talk about stuff because I like games and I like stuff. So, should games add mods and features to their franchise? Because over the years, a lot of people, form communities around specific games. You got Pokemon, Mario, Zelda, all these different games, Fallout, Skyrim. These games have massive communities that put so many mods and like the effort into their custom mods for these games, and it really shows. We're talking new textures, new quests, new features, you know fixing bugs and stuff like that. And should game developers actually add some of these community created masterpieces to their game? And I think they should. I really think they should. You have, you know, games like Pokemon and Lethal Company that have an abundance amount of mods for them. Pokemon has all these different creative mods, custom Pokemon, custom rule sets, randomizers. Lethal Company has like new monsters, new maps, new items, different like things that you can do with the game. My favorite mod in Lethal Company is the Facility Meltdown mod, where when you take the apparatus out of the machine, the entire facility goes into full meltdown and you have to leave. Like, you just need to get out there, otherwise you explode. So I think like some of these mods could have a huge impact on these games, and especially the Pokemon Company Game Freak could look at like ROM hacks and stuff like that as well that they could put into their games. And I think one of the biggest things in the modding scene right now is randomizers as well. Like, Pokemon is like infamous for its randomizers, and a lot of the community goes back to these older games because of the randomizers, and it allows people to replay the childhood favorites, or just obviously some of the older games are definitely superior to the new games. So playing them again with a unique new way to play it is always refreshing. And I think randomizers are probably like the easiest thing companies can do to add their, add something to their game. I don't think every single game needs it, but I think Pokemon could definitely benefit from having it, because you have games like Zelda, the original Zelda games on, the N64, and I think Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, all of them have randomizers, A Link to the Past as well. So some of these games, like a lot of Zelda games, just have items randomized. And like, while that is fun, it's very fun to do that and go around, and it really tests your knowledge of the game. I don't know if that's something I would, really care for in my base Zelda game. Yes, there's always a positive to adding to it, but it could also add, like some kind of fatigue to the game, in a way where it's just like, oh, you just play the game so much and know the game so well, you just kind of like optimize the fun out of it in a way. Instead of just like enjoying the game for what it is, even though like randomizers after a while, they're very unique and stuff. But there definitely comes a point where every game gets optimized, and it just kind of becomes unfun. But I think like games like Mario could probably benefit from it too, where it's just like oh, am I in 2-1 or 8-4? Like, where'd I go? So I think that'd be pretty cool. And Mario also, I guess technically Nintendo did give us our very own form of creating our own Mario mods in a way with Mario Maker, because now instead of people, having to, ROM hack Super Mario World and stuff like that, or different Mario games, and kind of make their own custom stages in the games, we have Mario Maker, so we can just make our own 2D Mario levels. And it's very simple, because when you have the ROM hack, you gotta like really learn a lot about like what you're doing and figure it out, and patch the game and stuff like that. There's a lot of more steps to ROM hacking than there is if Nintendo goes, here's a game, make whatever stages you want. So I think the barrier to entry with like a Mario type deal like isn't that hard for Nintendo these days, because like, oh, we just give them Mario Maker 3 and they're good. So something like that, a better barrier to entry would be nice. And that's kind of like what the Stardew Valley dev does, Concerned Ape. Like, Stardew Valley has an abundance of mods, and it's so fun to play on new maps, have new NPCs, new quests, all these different things. And what Concerned Ape does is he has a compatibility patch that he gives to modders, so that way their mods can work on the new patch before it comes out. So something like that is also cool. But also, Stardew Valley's an indie game, and indie developers definitely gonna be more lenient than a AAA studio, especially with a company like Nintendo. So that's it's give or take depending on, oh hey, this indie game studio made a compatibility patch. Some like Lethal companies like EasyMod because it's in Unity, and Unity is just like a really easy engine to work with. So you have Lethal Company and the Lethal Company clones, like content warning already had mods like within the first week. You have Murky Divers that I'm sure has mods. I haven't checked yet, but I'm sure that has mods as well. And then for like the older Zelda games too, people are making custom boss fights and stuff like that. I think someone made a custom boss fight where you fight a Rauru or whatever, and that's like a really super hard boss fight, and it's complex as hell. But maybe instead of like, you know, Nintendo can like take a book from that and be like, oh, maybe we should add like a super boss type deal to Zelda. And there's other games that have super bosses too. It's not really like a unique concept. Like Kingdom Hearts has their own super bosses, so something like that added to Zelda would be pretty cool, I think. But right now we have it in the form of mods. You can literally just go get a patch for Ocarina of Time and just go fight a really hard boss fight. And then also like they have like a roguelike element to Zelda as well, which, you know, is something that could be added to a new Zelda perhaps. So all of those are really cool, and it's like, should game devs really add some of these to the games? Because there is an argument to be made where, oh well, it doesn't fit in with the vision of the game, it's not really how I envisioned the game. And it's like, well, the players are going to have fun whether they, you know, whether you allow them to have fun or not. There's games that literally patch the fun out of them, and like some games just like are just egregious with their patches. I think Hollow Knight, you know, people like were using something in Hollow Knight to speedrun, and then they got patched, and like the speedrunning community was very, very annoyed. And Nintendo like does a lot of things where they make it really hard on current consoles. They make it really hard to revert back to a previous game, like a previous version of your game. So if you like update Mario Odyssey, there's like certain glitches that you can't get anymore, which, you know, obviously game devs should patch glitches, but some of these glitches are only unique to the speedrun. Like you're never going to do some of these glitches like in a casual run for any reason. So like glitches like should be patched. Like obviously, you know, having a well-polished game is, you know, something, but if it's like very unique to speedrunning, and like if you're a game dev and you look at that, it's kind of like, okay, I probably don't need to touch this, because no casual person is gonna be like, well, I'm gonna do this weird glitch and, you know, do it that way. So I don't think like patching certain glitches to be fine. The same thing with like Luigi's Mansion 3. I believe a lot of glitches were patched out of that as well, to the point where it's like the speed running is like non-existent for the most part. So stuff like that, yeah, I think, you know, having certain patches and stuff is definitely not good. And overall, like, that comes back to like, oh, it's not really like how they envision the game, but players are gonna have fun the way players want to have fun. So you either give us our fun or we'll make our own fun. So I think that's the thing with that, is like, just give us the option anyways. Like, your game's gonna last longer, it's gonna have more replayability, people are gonna have fonder memories of your game. Especially if, like, you know, you load up a new Pokemon game and it's just like, oh, there's like a randomize option, you know, I can, it's already built in. That's crazy. I don't have to do the extra steps. Because honestly, like, if I want to randomize a Pokemon mod and I'm doing like a random Pokemon Nuzlocke, if I fail that Nuzlocke, I then have to go back into the randomizer, put the file back in, go through all these steps, export the game, and then reopen the game. And it's like, if I just, you know, delete my save and, you know, redo it, and then, you know, it's just right there on the game cartridge. It's very simple. So players are going to have fun the way they want to have fun, and we'll either make it complicated for ourselves, adding tools, or, you know, you can just give it to us. So I think game devs should definitely add certain mods, and there is, you know, some murkiness there as well. Like, I would say, again, for Pokemon, if they just added a randomizer, it's like, okay, they're like, it's there. Like, you know, there's no randomizer for their new game, it's just built into the game, no one worked hard on it or anything. But like, if they have an older game and they try to make a randomizer, well, there's already devs who made randomizers, so maybe people are going to feel a certain way about that. It's like, oh, why didn't you get the dev for this? Or, you know, I don't think people would care too much, but there is kind of that like feeling of like, oh, like a dev already made a randomizer, like maybe you should use theirs or have them implemented into your game, something like that. And then you have games that are in active development, like Lethal Company. And honestly, I swear the Lethal Company dev must be sweating sometimes, because some of the modders make insane monsters that I'm like, that would be great in the, like, it feels like it fits in the base game. Like the Shy Guy kind of feels like, you know, it could be in the normal game to a degree. But like, you know, the game dev just came out with a new update, and it's pretty cool too. But it's just like, imagine just like your community so passionate and loves your game so much that they just like put like these top tier mods, and it's like, man, dude, like imagine like you're deving for your game, and then your community goes, I made this mod, and it's just like, dude, I can't, like, I just wrote that down, now I can't do that because you put it in the game. So that's when it comes down to like, should game devs just like, you know, commission these modders, pay them, or now do they have to draw up a contract so they get a percentage of the sales because their work is now in said game? So that's where it gets really murky, where it's like, yes, I want these modders and these people who put their time and passion into the game to like receive some kind of compensation if it gets into the game. So that'd be pretty cool as well if that happened. But it does, like, you know, cause some issues. And then you have like games like Fallout and Skyrim where the community is actively making mods to fix the game. And it's like, Bethesda definitely has the legal team and the funds to like just outright hire these people. Like, these people fixed your game, something that you didn't do. They made the code to fix your game. Like, hire them, put them on the next dev team, like get your lawyers, draw up a contract or something, like make it official. Why does it need to be a community thing? Why is it just like, we made the game, the community will just do it? Free labor, free. And that's probably you know, the capitalist mindset is like, it's free labor, the community will just fix it. They'll fix the quest line, it's broken, but they'll fix it. And that's just like honestly a silly mindset that you know, obviously AAA companies have, and it does really suck. And then I know Nintendo's very protective of their IPs as well, so you know, people like really going hard. Like, you have the Project Plus where they turn Brawl into Melee basically, and P Plus is so cool, but it's just like, it's completely shut down now. Like, you are not allowed to stream that game if you're a tournament, and you're definitely not getting Nintendo's back support if you have P+. That's why majors don't have P+ anymore. I think they dropped P+ back in like 2015, 2016, something like that. It was like a good like little bit ago that they dropped support for P+, like big tournaments, which sucks. But it's like, you have these bigger companies who are very protective, but then you have like the smaller like game devs and indie companies who are like, they probably have enough money to keep deving for the game, but maybe they don't have enough money to pay for the lawyers and then bring people on. But they might have enough money to be like, hey, this is a commission fee, like, I want to put your mod in my game. So there's a lot of, you know, probably legal, you know, hoops to jump through for certain things. You can also kind of like look at this as like similar with like how Scott Cawthon was like, you know, had his like program where people were like, the people who were making fan games, like Scott would help fund them so they could create their passions. It could be something like that, probably cheaper too. But I think this is something that, you know, indie devs and, you know, smaller game studios should probably, you know, come into and, you know, figure it out. Like, hey, this person made this really cool mod, maybe we should like bring them on or commission them. And it would probably honestly allow some of these people who are actually like working on these mods to like finally fulfill their dream, because some of these people are probably, you know, inspiring game devs, or, you know, maybe just they're using their free time that they have and they're working a job they don't like, and this could be an opportunity for them to, you know, make some headway into something they actually love. So it'd be nice to see in the future if, you know, this started to become a norm for sure. But with that being said, overall, hopefully something in the future, you know, devs figure something out for, you know, their communities, to show their community some love and find a way to pay homage and like immortalize their community's work in their game in some way, and, you know, like the biggest popular mods in their game. So I think that'd be pretty cool. But anyways, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Peace. Bye.